Hi guys, welcome to the website of Brother Dog. I'm Brother K9. Today we're going to share with you how we use Blueholes. What about this high CP host? We complete our own website building. We're going to set it up. What about the website? The first thing we can't do without is that we have to have a host. So what about after we have the host? Let's add the domain. You will be able to build your own website smoothly. At the beginning of the drive, Bluehost is a very good choice, because its budget can be added very low. At the same time, we have a host that can be used. Good. Then let's move on. Good. Later, I will take you to apply for Bluehost. Good. And before that, let's take a look at the features of this console first. Good. Then I will share with you the 5 points that I have simply organized. First of all, the first point. It is a long-established hosting company with domain hosting. So on the host, it has been running for a very long time. So don't worry about finding someone after you say it, or unfortunate closure and so on, because it has been in business for a very long time. And what about again? It also has domain hosting services. So your domain can run on Blueholes at the same time as the host. You don't have to separate the two places to deal with it. Good. And the second one, it's very cheap. Newbie path. The biggest advantage of Bluehost is that it's very cheap. If you're a newbie, when you first start loading, I want to start with the least amount of cost. That with Bluehost, it's an excellent option. And the third also, it is the official recommended host of Bluehouse HitDog. Let's take a look at this data. So what about this website, which is the official WordPress website? What about the inside of it for WordPress hosting? They mainly recommend a few. One of them is Bluehost. Then it also has a complete explanation for it. It's described as Bluehost has more than 2 million sites left. Provides such a service. And then what? It also adds WordPress-centric dashboards and tools. Includes one-click installation, free domain with email, FTP and so on. Including it, there is also 24-hour online customer service. The fourth point is that the operation interface is simple. And intuition. If you don't have any concept of driving, then you use this host. This interface is very simple to boot. All you have to do is click next. Then it will soon have a website that can be singled out. The fifth is the one-click installation of Bluehost. Bluehost has the function of WordPress one-click installation. Then I will share this with you later. Good. So that's the simple 5-point Bluehost host. I think it's special. Then we open a new pagination in Google. Let's enter the URL here and go to Bluehost. Then our related URLs will also be placed on this side of the screen, or the information bar below. It's convenient for you to go straight to it. Then we have this link to take advantage of the non-very high discount of Blue. Then I must all grasp it well. Then we'll go straight to it. When you come in, we should be able to see something like that. There's a Hoget stewarding note button over there. We can click directly. After clicking on it, I'll go straight to the Bluehost plan. So what about my summary? I have many years of experience using Bluehost to share with you. How do we make the most efficient choice? And the budget is minimal. First of all, we see that Blueholes currently has 4 solutions, so if there are changes to its solution interface today or the process later, I've also put the relevant Bluehost tutorial articles in the information bar below. Basically, our articles will be updated regularly, so you can see the latest interface from the article. First of all, the first one is Basic Web and again Choice Plus. These two are currently the ones we use the most. It's just that it won't cost so much. The other features are basically pretty adequate. We'll focus on these 2 introductions later. Let's just see the basic come in. It has resources and 10 websites. So you have this scheme. You can build 10 websites from there, including 10 gigabytes of storage space. Usually 10 gigabytes is enough. Then it has a free 1-year domain name. So this is a very good deal. It also supports free SSL. What about secure credentials and a free CDN that allows you to connect to your website from different countries? Are able to enjoy relatively good speeds. Including it is also a resource of customer service. Even if you have any questions, you can always seek answers through their online customer service. Good. That's an introduction to basic. Then we see the QS Plus solution. First of all, it's more in the number of resources on the site. At most, it can accommodate 1 host. We could put 50 websites like this. Well, of course, it depends on how much you use. We don't necessarily need that much. We may also be okay for 1 or 2, but it has a whopping 50 gigabytes of storage. It also has a free 1-year domain. With the inclusion of free SSL, there are also CDN-related services. Then its function is actually similar to basic. The only difference is in the number of websites. So if you're doing it today, If you have a budget, you may have just started to get started. The number of websites or the space you have, you all think okay. Then you can start with basic. So if you say that you are interested in this number or hardware specifications today, you want a little more, you'll have the option to ask for S+. Good. Let's start with the basic plan. Good. Then let's click space to go to the next step. Then let's move on to the domain application. First of all, if you already have your own domain, you can check this. Good. Then you can enter your existing domain name. Then click on this button. It's about using your existing domain. Good. So if you don't have a domain today, you're planning to apply for a new one just like I do at the moment. Good. Then you can be down there. Is this block? Let's fill in the URL we want to apply. Good. And what about when it's done? It has the domain information protection on it. Good. Then I'll save my budget. So cancel it. Then there is a cancel button below and click on it. Good. And what about when it's done? We can click on this button. I can then move on to the next step. So what if you're doing well? You can go straight to this URL section. Good. So if you apply for this website today, someone has already registered. Good. That might be a hint. Good. Then go and change to a new domain. Should be fine. Good. So let's take a look at the specs we have chosen so far. First of all, our first one is the host we rent. So now we're renting for 1 year. Then I recommend that you choose at least 1 year to enjoy the discount. Below is the part of the URL we applied for. Of course, you can choose the number of years yourself. On my side, I can use it for a year for a while. Good. What about the following is the protection of the domain's private rights and so on. And what about my place? Not at the moment. I'm going to cancel it. Then say whether you want to confirm the cancellation. I'll just remove it. In addition, it has a section that provides a professional mailbox. At the moment this is not used, so just remove it. Delete the functions that you don't use, and then save our budget later. So the only thing we're going to stay with is this host that we applied for. Good. Then let's confirm the time. Then follow the section that includes our website. What about the URL? Bluehost, it will be given to you in the first year. So I can use it for small change here. That's it. Good. Good. That's no problem. We'll be able to move on to the next step. Then we're taken to this checkout screen. Then we'll fill in some information later. And it's very simple. Good. We'll all need to fill in English. Good. The first one is first name. It's your name class name. It's your last name. We can refer to a tool of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Good. The relevant links are placed in the information bar below. You can enter your first name and last name. Good. When you're done, we can just put the relevant English text on it. Good. So let's choose our own region. Good. What I found here is Taiwan. In fact, we can fill in our own address. There are 2 columns for its address. The second column is optional. Good. Then let's demonstrate it directly. First of all, it's the same. We can use this tool too. Good. Related tools will be placed below. Good. After that, we'll do it individually. Good. So I'm going to copy all the text first. Good. Let's stick it on first. Good. After pasting it, he told us, I'm currently too long. I'm 41 word origins. Good. So at this time, I'm going to do some dismantling. First of all, I'll first put this Beibei city in English. Place on CT. It's the city. And what about Adato 2 over there? That's what I'm going to do. It was Yonghe district that filled it into this place. Good. Then I'll delete the redundant symbol. Good. So we're done quickly. Good. Then what about the quick place? That's because Taiwan doesn't have a state. So we should be able to directly enter Taiwan. Good. Here's your zip code. Good. Then I'm going to sign up for this email. Good. Then we'll fill in our own. Good. Then we'll enter the contact number. Good. I'll use my phone as an example. Then because we will need to fill in this international before. In Taiwan, it's 886. Then you can enter your mobile phone number. What about this number? It's just for application. It doesn't have any calls or so on. So everyone can give up. Good. Then let's move on. There's an account information here. When the time comes, you will need to log in to this password in the Bluehost backend. Good. So as for the password part, you can remember it. Good. Then we'll fill it in individually. What about after filling it out? We can fill it out again. This is the duplicate password part. Good. Then we move on to the payment methods. It has a section for consulting credit cards and PayPal. In that case, I'll choose the credit card amount first. You can enter your cardholder's name, then the month that includes the expiration date of the card number and security code, the year of expiration, and so on. Good. So what about when we've typed everything on the left? We can confirm the amount on the right-hand side. The amount will be determined according to Bluehost's current pricing plan. Good. So after we've all confirmed, you can click the button below to check out. And then what happens when we've applied? Then the system will run out of a similar guide screen. Then this picture may be adjusted according to the situation of the Bluehost. Good. That with the current version it looks like this. Then we can see the message of the text. It's telling us to say, your Word website is currently being installed for you. And down there it reappeared. So your Porlu website is already installed. Good. That shouldn't be a big deal. Good. Then you can click this button here. Log in to our very own Bluehost website. Good. Then we might see something similar. Good. Then we shouldn't be able to draw this function at the moment. So I just turned it off. Good. After I shut it down, the screen I might have taken directly to was the backstage of Bluehost. So if you can't log in to its backend today, I'll show you another way. Good. Back to the home page of Bluehost. Good. So how do we log in to Bluehost's backend from the home page? The same. We can see that there will be a login in the upper right corner. Good. Let's click. Good. And what about when you come in? We can see that the name of the page we applied for is on this. Good. Then I've logged in before. So I'm going to bind this website. Good thing I just applied. There's nothing wrong with that. And then what? I'll just enter when I first signed up. The background login password of the Bluehost that you have entered. Good. After that I clicked login. So what about the first time I logged in to the Bluehost backend? He might ask me to do a security verification. This can strengthen the protection of my host's background. Good. So he has a ping over there. The pin code is actually when we are fruitful. In the future, if we need Bluehouse to help us do the service, the customer service may ask for our pin code. That's our service code. Good. After you give him this service code, he can be more efficient. I'm going to do this for you. Good. So if you ping it, you can enter the number you remember. So I'll enter it at will first. Good. What about our pings after each entering their own numbers? We can then click on next. Good. So what will tell you here? You can go to your email to do this verification code. He may have sent you a verification code. Then let's open our mailboxes individually. Good. On my side, you can see that you can also see that, well, your mailbox should receive a letter similar to this one sent to you by Bluehost. Good. There should be a CAPTCHA in there. We're going to copy the CAPTCHA. Good. Then we'll put it in this column. Once you're done, we'll click verification. In this case, we have completed the verification of the basic background. Then he mentioned on his side, because we can also do this enhanced verification in the second step. But we shouldn't use it for now. So let's ignore it. So we're going to see a promotional message here. Then we don't need it at the moment. So I'll click on the one below. No thanks. What about the above process? We've successfully completed the verification of this Bluehouse backend. In addition, we logged in to the Bluehost backend smoothly. And what about this chapter? Let's share how we can help our website encrypt SSL certificates. So what about through this SSL? We will also be able to make the transmission of information more secure. We can go to the Bluehost where there is a website. And what about when you come in? You'll see the worker site it helped you build. Good. Then you can click on the settings here. Good. And what about when you come in? You'll see that here are a lot of settings given by Bluehost. Then we'll share some with you later. What about the same? Here's the set information site. The URL is the URL of your website. So what about our side to copy it directly? So here's an additional browser from the visitor's point of view. And then I'm going to visit it. What about the net that I have registered for at the moment and that net? You'll see this web address comes up with this unsafe part. Then we can see a realm here. We can open it up. But then we can use this insecure connection method first. That is, there is no mode with S added before. Let's connect first. Good. Then you'll see, we've actually built the WordPress website so far. That's just to say that because we haven't applied for an SSL certificate yet, so there was this completely with the exposure. We might just see an error message. Good. So our chapter is here to teach you How do we get the website to validate this SSL certificate? That one. First of all, after we come in, we can see that there is an SSL of OK. In fact, we don't have a block in CSBL yet. Good. So here we can click on the surface to go in. The system will help us jump to the SSL-related block by itself. Or you can click on the security above. The same can be found for security. Good. And this side has an icon. We can click on it. Good. And what about this side? It has a generated CSR. This is the SSL relevance thing. We can click on it. Good. At this time, in fact, the system will help us jump to the cPanel backend. We can go back to the previous page. Let's click on the tools. Good. What about the so-called cPanels backstage? It can help us control some of the functions of the host. That's all because we can change it to Chinese first. So let's go down. We can see the change language here. Let's change the distinction between languages. Good. That changed it to Chinese. Then let's go back to the previous level, tools. Good. At this time, the background of our cPanel becomes clearer. That one, we can find SSL-related blocks. There's going to be a security authority on its side. And then there's an SSL. We can just click on it. Good. And what about when you come in? We can do encryption protection. So what about at the moment we can see that there are some of them that are not protected by encryption, especially our main domain. Good. Then we can tick the 3W parts of our main domain that are exposed. And what about this time? Let's click on this button. It's Run Auto SSL. We encrypt this credential. Good. Then I've just successfully encrypted it. That encryption will take some time, so you can wait a little bit. So what about this? Our SSL encryption is done without a hitch. And what about after we're done encrypting? It's also a time to wait for the domain to take effect. So we're not using it anymore. You can immediately access the front desk. And then the normal display so we'll have to wait a little bit. Good. What about after it takes effect? We'll be able to access it normally. So let's go back to the Blue House backstage. Then we must be able to see your website inside the website. There's an X site over there. It's the part of editing and editing. Then we can also click on Workflow settings. What about the right-hand side? Have a website for editing your workplay. Good. Then let's click first. Good. And what about when you come in? Grouse predicts that it will give us a guided flow that AI has built. But we shouldn't need it at the moment. So we can look down. There will be an English below it. In other words, we don't need this function for now. We can click on it. Good. So we're logged in to our WordPress backend smoothly. So we can take a look at it in the upper left corner. There's a website to visit on its side. We open. Good. That one will see your current website front desk. Good. At this time, it also tells you that your website is not online at the moment. Good. Therefore, this screen is only visible to administrators. Good. Then we will also teach you how to make the website officially live like this later. Good. Let's close it first. Good. What about the same? We see in the background that it's all in English. So we can change it to Chinese first. I can click on settings. When you come in, this is general setting. We can first tune it to Chinese. It's easier for us to solve. Then we can also change the area there. That's it. Then this is the relatively simple Word backend setting. And of course, there are a lot of functions in the pre-WordPress backend. So if you want to know more about how to set it up, you can refer to my YouTube tutorial, or refer to the whole website. Good. There are a lot of related states in it. So what about this section? We're going to release how we can sort out this WordPress backend plugin. So because we set it up after Blue House. So it's in there to help us install some plugins, and most of the plugins, we may not need it. So we'll need to do the deletion. So how do we organize the plugins? The same. We can plug in on the left-hand side. Let's click on Install Plugin. And what about when you come in? We can see that these are all existing plugins. But none of us need it. There is one that is Bluehost, Parking TS. Let's click to deactivate. Then continue to skip by. Then continue to deactivate. Good. So that's all there is to it. Most of them shouldn't be needed at the moment. So we're going to just select them all. Then delete and apply it. When you're done, that makes our plugin clean. At the same time, you'll also see your backstage. Basically, there's nothing else. That would be nice too. So that's how we share a tutorial on how to organize work host hangings. And what about this chapter? We're going to teach you how to add new users. Or let's edit the user. It's the same way. We can do this user from the backstage. Let's click on all users. We currently have a user who was built for us by Bluehost. What we're currently logged in to the workplace admin. we all have to go through the Bluehost. That would be a little inconvenient. So we have to get the user's password. In this way, we can log in directly through our main domain backend, which will be faster. Good. So how do we change the password of our current user? Very simple. We can click on it. After our current user comes in, we can see that there is a username here. Then this will be the account you log in to the backend. In addition to the account number, then we can also log in through Warmail as an account. No problem. So you can see the password part below. Then we can click on the option to set a new password. Good. Then this password will be the login password of this user after you. So this place you can save it first. That's no problem. We can then click on Update Personal Information below. And then we can use the username we just saw. And the password part you set yourself. Let's do a login again. Good. So how do we log out? We can click on Logout in the upper right corner. Good. So let's close the current website first. After closing, we can go to the domain name we are currently applying for. So let's go directly behind this domain name. We add the /VP to a bar alife. Good. This is the background path of the More WordPress preset. Good. Then we'll enter. And what about when you come in? We can see this picture. Then let's fill in the account and password we just used. Good. So we can go through this one of our main domains more quickly. Then enter the account password and you can log in directly to the background. Then we don't have to. Every time it will come faster through this platform. Good. So that's how to share with you how to add a new WordPress user. So what about this one to share with you? How do we close the Bluehost's coming page? Good. This is the screen in the preparation of the web page. Because Blue is preset to help you add a workplace website. Because he knows you're probably about to edit your own website. Good. So he'll prepare a page. It's called a similar screen in web page preparation. So what if you enter the website and are ready? You can just close the page. Well, what about visitors from the outside so you can see what your website looks like? Good. So how do we close the screen in preparation for this web page? What about the same? We can find our own after this WordPress site. We can see that there is a setting at the end. Let's click well. And what about when you come in? We can go down. Good. Then we can see that there is a coming soon page here. The web page is being prepared. Good. Then we can put this button. If your default is on, just remember to turn it off. So I'm currently closed. So my website should be accessible to the outside world. Good. So how do we test this? Same. We can find our own web address. Good. Then we can copy the new browser first. I'm directly simulating the identity of a visitor. I'm going to visit. Good. That's true. I'm from the visitor's point of view. I can also see that Bluehorse helped me build a basic worker. So what about this? I successfully set up a PowerPlace website. And it's something that can be visited externally, so what do I have to deal with later? In fact, I started to be able to plug in the theme of the website. Then I'm going to make a beautification and matching. In that case, we were able to make a more restrained WordPress AirPress website. Good. So what about the above is the one-stop and complete teaching of the Bluehost host from application to driving with WordPress. So you can make a website that is accessible to the outside world. The point is, it's also a low-budget way to add praise. Good. And finally, if you want to take the full WordPress course today, it is a complete erection from the blog image station or the e-commerce station. So what about us here? We have launched an online course. It was WordPress that told me about the Gazan class. What about the related connection to the connection? I'll also put it in the information bar below. Then you can learn more about it from that sales page. What about after learning? You'll be able to learn the whole technique and the part that includes the station. So what if you don't have time today? You can also contact Quan Gu Shu Well. What about the relevant contact information? I'll also put it in the information bar below. Then we have a professional WordPress team that will help you one-stop production of a website from 0 to 1. Can help you save time on Phaser. Oh, good. So that's what about this teaching. Then I hope this film can help you. Then we'll see you in the next video. Bye.